Hey, amazing, my beautiful viewer. Welcome back to our show. And as usual, talk about politics, talk about leadership, talk about religion, anything that is breaking up that you need to know. And today we're talking about what has been trending on social media platforms. The statements that were made by one of the Sheikhs, is it, I don't know, in Kenya or Tanzania, I don't know where that guy came from. And there is a debate on the same because different people are giving different versions of the same story. This guy told fellow Muslims not to join Christians during their celebrations and not even eat their foods. That's what he said. And let me ask a question. The Quran says that the Quran is complete and it explains everything. So what is these differences? Where are these differences coming in that everyone has their own interpretation of the very verses that they pre-assume that they understand? This is what the Quran says on that. I will read that. Surah An-Nahl, that is 16 and 89, says, we have revealed to you the book as an explanation of all things, a guide, a mercy, and a good news for those who fully submit. And there is another one that is in Surah Al-An'am, that is 16 verse 1 or 14, where it says that where Allah reveals the scripture, he says that fully explained, emphasizing its completeness as a divine guide for life, faith, and justice, not necessarily detailed encyclopedia for scientific research and all that, but it's a guide that explains everything in these three areas of life. One, it explains everything as in life, faith, and justice. So if the Quran explains everything when it comes to faith, life, and justice, then there's no need. Okay, there must never be a misguided or a misjudgment or a misinterpretation of the very Quran, because it explains everything. Now, asking all the sheikhs who are coming up with different explanations, some are rejecting the explanation and the understanding of the guy who say that Muslims should not be friends with Christians, nor should they ever eat anything that is offered by Christians, nor should they ever mix with Christians when the Christians are doing their ceremonies. There are those who are saying it's okay, that is what the Quran says. There are those who are saying that that's not what the Quran says, things should be much different and all that. But all in all, what do you think is going to happen now? What do you think is going to happen next? So is the Quran itself confused, that it's telling people things that they don't fully understand, or the Quran itself, it's not fully explaining things as it's supposed to say, as it claims that it explains everything fully, or what's not happening? Or what's the reason for all this misunderstanding and misinterpretations? Yeah? What's the reason of all this misunderstanding and misinterpretations? Because Zakir will say something different, another Muslim scholar will come and say something different, another Muslim scholar will come and say something different, the Dawa guy will come and say something different, someone else will come and say something different. So is the Quran confused somewhere? It should be explaining everything in a complete sense. It should be fully explaining everything in a way that even the toddlers will understand. But now we got a problem, a big problem over here. We got a problem, and the big problem is over here, like from what I've just heard from in all this. So Surah 16 verse 19, chapter 16 verse 19 of the Quran says, we have revealed to you the book as an explanation of all things. As an explanation of all things, we have revealed to you a book as an explanation of all things. Again, we have revealed to you a book. That's another discussion on its own. Who are these revealing the book? And it's supposed to be I have, okay, because there is one God. So who are these revealing the book to who? Who are these revealing the book to who? Okay, here to Yeke Kando, not a discussion for today. We are on the misinterpretation of the Quran by several interpretation of one verse of the Quran by different sheikhs or religious leaders within the Islamic scholars, because they are not agreeing on one thing. It's one thing, but they're not agreeing on. Everyone is coming with their own interpretation. So is the Quran confused? It should be explaining everything, as this verse over says here. We have revealed to you the book as an explanation for all things, a guide, a mercy, and good news for those who fully submit. So if those people don't really understand, then they don't fully submit. They are not real Muslims. And then we have Surah chapter 6, verse 114, which says, shall I seek other than Allah as a source of law? Yeah. when he has revealed to you this book fully detailed, those who receive the scriptures recognize that it has been revealed from the Lord. Truthfully, you shall not harbor any doubt about what the scripture says, what the Quran says in that. And these people still harbor some other truths from other angles, and all they seek other interpretations of the Quran from other sources, other books, and all that. But the Quran itself should be explaining everything, because the Quran, yeah, it should be explaining everything to you for us to get the understanding. But in this case, something's not happening over here. So are these Muslims reading different Qurans, or are they reading the one Quran? Are they reading from the same script, or they're reading from different script? Are they reading from that one Quran that has always been told there is only one Quran, or they're reading from different versions of the Quran? Because not all of these people are accepting the fact that this is what it says. Someone else would come with their own interpretations of the same. Well, it's so hard over. So very hard out here. So hard. Eh? When it comes to faith, mother's faith, so hard. The Quran explains all necessary matters for spiritual guidance, belief, worship, morals, and living a righteous life. So on this matter of Christians, Muslims not gathering with Christians and not eating Christians' life, the Quran should be very much explicit on that, because it explains matters on spiritual guidance, beliefs, worship, morals, and living a righteous life. But now, if these sheikhs and teachers of the Quran, those religious teachers who teach the Quran or interpret the Quran to the people are misinterpreting one, or have different interpretation of one verse of the Quran, then there is a problem over here. But this thing should have explained that no Christian, no Muslim should be a friend to a Christian. No Muslim should eat the food of the Christian, especially foods that are in details, as it says. It should be explaining in details, as it says over here. Everything the term in all things refers to all aspects of religious life and guidance. That is what it calls. That's the interpretation of the verse that you just read. Not every detail of history or science, which depends on context and intent, scope of divine revelation. That's another thing again we'll be talking about on the same. So, can all those sheikhs gather together? All those sheikhs, can they gather together and agree on one? Can they gather all together and agree on one thing? All those sheikhs, can they gather together and agree on one thing? Are they trying to prove that the Quran is not right? Because they are not agreeing, but the Quran explains everything as it is in matters life, religion, religious beliefs, everything. It explains everything. Okay. Such information can only be found on How Can I Know unless someone explains to you. And this is Alan. So the only way to support us and keep us on the air is to do what? Simply subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment as you engage us in the comment section, and let us know how better can we become, or can we do, to make sure that everything is coming in as it's supposed to. Thank you. Until next time we meet, it's your host Alan.